Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. If you like the video today, please comment and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner, and today's video is Wes Hopkins, free safety, Philadelphia Eagles by way of SMU University. So if you like the video today, please comment and share it. And I'd like to give special thanks to my producer, Mr. Logan Landers, for making it happen today. Everyone knows that I attended the University of Arkansas for 4 years, from 1978 to 1982. And I saw a lot of great football players play this game at a high level. And I tell a lot of my friends about that SMU team of 1981. They had so many great players that played on that football team. And that SMU team is known as the Pony Express. At that time, they had Eric Dickerson, they had Craig James, they had Harvey Armstrong that went to the league. They had Russell Carter, who's an outstanding defensive back that played with the New York Jets. But my senior year at the University of Arkansas, SMU played Arkansas in November for a chance to win the Southwest Conference Championship. And at that time, SMU, I believe, was ranked number 2 or 3 in the country. And Arkansas was ranked, I believe, number 10 or 11 in the country. And the game was for the Southwestern Conference Championship, as I just mentioned. And that day, Eric Dickerson had close to almost 200 yards rushing. Craig James had over 100 yards rushing. But the guy that stuck out of my mind that day on the field, on that day, November the 21st, 1981, was the young man on the screen, Wes Hopkins, and his ability to play free safety. He was the only guy I saw up close and personal that could really play the safety game like it was no tomorrow. Sideline to sideline. The ability to play in the box. The ability to run with receivers on the outside. He was some special player that day, and I saw that up close and personal. And the one thing that I took from Wes Hopkins, at that time, a lot of people were saying Ronnie Lott was one of the greatest football players pound for pound from a hitting ability that played in the National Football League, along with Dennis Smith, who was his cohort at USC. But Wes Hopkins, I don't think it was no better player in my time in college that I saw that can bring the wood like him. And there was a lot of great safeties that was in college. When I was in college, Kenny Easley, a.k.a. UCLA. But what I liked about Wes and his skill set, he punished receivers at a high level, A+. His hitting ability was like plywood. Can I say that one more time? His hitting ability was like plywood at A+. He played like a man that was in the jungle and that was jumping at everything that moved. Then the toughness of Wes Hopkins, A+. The instincts as a safety, A+ with Wes Hopkins. Football intelligence. He was one of the best football players playing the safety position, both on the professional level and the collegiate level, A+. Intimidating. He scared the hell out of receivers, running backs, anybody who was on the other side of the ball. You can look at his career at SMU, but look how he played when he got with the Philadelphia Eagles. Another thing that I liked about Wes Hopkins in his skill set, he was a very smart football player at the free safety position. There was no better player in the country when I saw him play that day against Arkansas. He was playing for SMU that played at a high level. And the one thing, when you play in the safety position, whether it's in high school, whether it's in middle school, whether it's in the college level, the professional level, he played it at a high level. In the National Football League, he was drafted in the second round by the Philadelphia Eagles. He played 137 career games. He had 30 interceptions in his career. He had 16 fumble recoveries. And one other point I want to bring up, while he had an All-American career at SMU, he was a walk-on out of Birmingham, Alabama. Went to the same high school as Mr. Pat Sullivan, which was John Carroll. Can you believe that? A young man that got away from the state of Alabama, came down to the Southwest Conference and played at SMU at a free safety position at a high level in the 80s. And think about that SMU defense that he played on in his years at SMU, especially on that 1981 team, who I consider one of the top college football teams as a single season team ever. He had James Mobley, Russell Carter, Harvey Armstrong, Michael Carter, Eric Ferguson, Reggie Phillips, the legendary out of Sealy, Texas, Eric Dickerson, my man from Stratford High School, Craig James, one of the best football teams that ever stepped on the gridiron from a college level. And then he went to the pros, and he played on one of the most ferocious, intimidating defenses in the 80s that we're never going to see. Listen to the players that was on that defense for the Philadelphia Eagles at that time. Reggie White, Seth Joyner, the late Jerome Brown, Andre Waters, Mike Pitts, Terry Hogue, Clyde Simmons, Mike Golick, Brian Evans, Eric Allen, William Thomas, and Mark McMillan. And when you look at Wes Hopkins, pound for pound, he might have been the best player on that defense, and that includes Reggie White. This gentleman was a hell of a football player, and he was one guy that played the safety position and how you're supposed to play it. He was Jack Tatum of the 1980s when we talk about playing football, both on a collegiate level and an NFL level. My hat's off to Wes Hopkins. He passed a year ago, and I like to say it was an honor and a pleasure to see you play, young man, at a high level. He's one of the best football players that played the safety position, and if I had a vote, he will be in the Hall of Fame. If you liked the video today, please come in and share it. We surely appreciate it here on 100 Yards Football. Special thanks to my producer today, the very talented Mr. Logan Landers, for making it happen. I've been your host, Vincent Turner. Fly, Eagle, fly, like Steve Miller. Wes Hopkins was one of the best Philadelphia Eagle players on the defensive side of the ball for the history of the Eagles. And when you're talking about on a collegiate level, playing at SMU, we think about the Pony Express in the 1980s, but we need to think about that SMU defense with this young man right here, because Wes Hopkins would knock the ish out of you. Y'all be blessed here on 100 Yards of Football.